Hello, Internet. Hello, Facebook. Hello, YouTube. And anywhere else this video may appear. My name is Samuel Huber from Inclusion Tube and my own personal Facebook channel, Samuel Huber. I'm here with Hari Prakaash. I'm here to talk about her experience at Inclusion Fest last year and a bit about what she does on her own. Let's start off with, can you tell our viewers a bit about yourself?
Yeah, hey Satnam, my name is Hari Prakaash and I live in upstate New York in the Catskills. I teach Kundalini Yoga, meditation, and Gong sound healing. I teach adults, I teach children, I teach everyone. Yeah, and I've been teaching since 2007. I've been teaching yoga. And I found Kundalini, I've been practicing yoga since I was 16 and started teaching Kundalini Yoga in 2008. So yeah, and I love it. I love it. It's my whole world. It's always been a part of my life. And, you know, I incorporate the teachings throughout my daily life, whether it's, you know, showering, sleeping, food, whatever. So I'm really immersed in the teachings and I absolutely love them and I believe in them. I believe that they can help people, and that's why I share them. I did not want to become a yoga teacher when I first started teaching. Or when I went into teacher training. I went into teacher training to learn more about the teachings for myself, selfishly. And then when I started changing and, you know, my world started becoming better and I became more healthier and I was more clear, I realized I needed to share this with other people. It was like magic. So I just started teaching out of my living room. And people came, and then I started teaching more and more people came, and it grew. And then I started teaching around the planet and doing teacher trainings with my teacher. So we've helped so many people get through life events and you know, traumatic experiences and health things, mental things, whatever. And then we've also helped people just to feel good on a daily basis. So yeah, so that's about me. Basically, I just teach yoga and that's it. I like nature. I go hiking a lot. I like to be out in nature as much as possibly can, and you know, breathing the fresh air. And that's why I live in the Catskills, because you know, we have mountains and lakes and streams and, you know, watering holes and really good hiking trails. So that's why I live here. It inspires me.
Very cool, very cool. So of all the yoga practices, why have you chosen this particular one? Because a bunch of them I can't pronounce right now, but why this specific one?
Yeah, so Kundalini Yoga. So I practiced Hatha Yoga when I was 16. That was my main practice from 16 until I was like in my 30s. I still practice it now, but so I practiced that for the longest time. And Hatha Yoga, that's a stretchy yoga, and it's a really good yoga. But when I took my first Kundalini Yoga class, it just felt juicy to me. Like it felt like something I could sink my teeth into. It felt like something that I had been searching for during this lifetime. And it also felt very familiar, like I had practiced it in other lifetimes. And for all of those years that I practiced the Hatha Yoga, you know, I had great transformation. My body was great. Everything was good. But when I found the Kundalini Yoga, things started happening like this, and miracles started happening like this. And just everything started happening super fast. And a lot of prosperity came to me. And prosperity not meaning like cash money, like meaning, you know, like grace and health and love and, you know, just like compassion, and you know, the things that weren't good for me in my world just started disappearing, and everything that was good for me started appearing. So all these like magical things started happening in my world, and so I stuck with it and I believed in it, and I kept practicing, and then I started teaching. But yeah, so that's why this practice, you know, and that's what it works for me. You know, it works for me. That's me, and that works for me. You know, not everybody likes avocados. But like, I like this practice. I love this practice. Clearly, like, I wear all white, I cover my head, I've changed my name, like, you know, but that's me. That's totally me. But the cool thing about Kundalini Yoga also is that I like to describe it as like, it's like this big buffet of teachings, right? And you can walk up to the buffet and you can take a little grape, and that will be so beneficial for you. It will work for you. You will feel better. Or you can go to the buffet like me and wear all white and, you know, practice 2 hours a day and do all of this, like fill up your plate, and that works for you. So any part of these teachings, you can take a little bit or a lot, and it'll work for your system, for your diet, so to say. Like, it's the best way I can describe it. But that's what works for me. And I just felt very, very connected to this practice. Like, it resonated very deeply with me on a different level than even in this lifetime. It's beyond time and space kind of thing.
Very cool. How do you think this kind of yoga practice would benefit the inclusion population or community, especially special needs families and children in particular?
Yes. Yeah, so the Kundalini Yoga, anybody can practice like any form of this yoga. So basically, if you're breathing, you can do some kind of form of this yoga. So whether it's breath, we use a lot of breath work. We use a lot of mantras, meaning repetition of words. There's definitely movement involved. There's meditation. And me, I play the gong. So this is the gong behind me. So I use the gong in this technology as well. It's not a necessity to use the gong in this technology, but I choose to because I have a connection with the gong. But it's helpful in the sense, and I've taught a lot of special needs children and adults. And it's very interesting how, because Kundalini is just energy, right? So it's interesting how this energy, how they connect with this energy, or how anyone connects with this energy. Like I was brought into a school and I taught a special needs classroom, and there was a child that had to have headphones on the whole time, and that's, you know, they told me he might have to leave the room. I was like, that's totally cool, feel comfortable, everything. But when I started playing the gong, he was very interested, and he took the headphones off a little, then put them back on. Took them off, put them back on. And then eventually he took them off. He resonated so deeply with the gong sound, and I can't explain why. All I can explain is energy, you know. And he was smiling, and he was very happy after that class. So I can't explain why. I can just say that, you know, whether you're chanting a mantra or doing the breath or simply listening to the gong, you know, you're connecting with this energy on some level, and it's gonna hopefully it helps you to feel better, and then it raises your frequency. So it allows you to connect with, you know, the natural world, or the animal world, or even your parents, or, you know, your siblings, or whatever, on a different level. And then also, you know, for families of special needs, you know, human beings, you know, it helps them to kind of de-stress and relax, and also go within themselves. You know, I notice a lot of, like, there's a lot of outwardly stuff, like they're very outside of themselves a lot, the caretakers. So this allows them to kind of go in and to understand what's going on within their feelings and their energy, on a very, like, simple way. You know, like I was talking about before, like, you can just simply lay down and listen to a mantra, or lay down and listen to the gong, or lay down and just, you know, focus on a certain breath technique that we use, whatever it is. So it's open to all. I've had amputees in my class, you know, like I said, I've had special needs human beings in my class of all ages. And I can't describe it. It's just they just connect to it on a different level, you know, on a totally different level where the parents have told me they haven't seen their children this happy or resonate in this way before. It's hard to explain. It's better to experience. If I hope that makes sense, and I hope that
It makes
helps.
perfect sense. That in my own professional career, I've experienced that a lot too. Helping parents connect with their children on a spiritual and social level, and just having like those first words or them connecting with the sound, like the gong, is very powerful. I've done some of that myself in my own practices. Leading into the next question, what is, with that big gong behind you, what exactly is gong sound healing?
Okay, so the gong that I play is a Paiste symphonic gong, and it's a 38-inch, but they come in all different sizes. I use Paiste because Paiste, however they make their gongs, it just produces that sound current that's very healing. So the sound waves move in a way that go into the physical body, into the energetic bodies, into the mental bodies, and I like to describe it as it's like almost performing surgery. So whatever low frequencies that you may have, whether it's a thought form, a trauma, an experience, whatever it is, something that's bothering you, sometimes even headaches, we've had chronic pain, it goes in like surgery and it dismantles those lower frequencies, and it brings that area or that thought or whatever to a higher frequency. So, I've had people with chronic pain come out of a gong session, maybe one, maybe 10, everybody is different, and the pain that they've had for 20 years is gone. I've had people work out certain situations, major life situations. They've just like seen exactly how it had to be sorted out, and they've sorted it out after listening to, having a session with the gong. Then they move into that situation, they're able to sort it out to their benefit. So the gong, this gong, the way that I play it, because everybody's different, but I'm just speaking from my experience and how I play it and my energy, what I'm tapped into, sounds like outer space. So if you listen to recordings of NASA in outer space, sounds like the gong. And I would play it for you today, but for some reason through Zoom doesn't pick up the gong sound. I've tried every configuration, all different microphones, everything. It just doesn't work that way with Zoom. But IG Live, Instagram Live and stuff, it does work. But yeah, so it sounds like outer space. And the best way that I can describe it is it's beyond time and space. It contains all the sounds of the universe. So everybody has a different experience while listening to the gong. So there could be two people laying down next to each other, and maybe one person hears children at a playground playing, and the person next to them is hearing an orchestra. They've had two completely different experiences, but they're in the same room listening to the same sounds. So the way that it works is that whatever is, it's removing all of these subconscious thought forms, right? So things that we've picked up from this lifetime, 1,000 thoughts per wink of the eye, right? So things that we've picked up, the gong is kind of digesting them in a way. So it's digesting them and moving them through the mental bodies. So maybe you see that as an orchestra, or children playing at a playground, or thinking of your to-do list. I got to go and pick up the groceries and the pharmacy, whatever. But yeah, so that's the way that it works. It removes any kind of subconscious thought forms. It clears the subconscious thought forms in a very powerful, fast way.
All right, awesome. And you spoke. my wife and I talk about this stuff all the time, so I followed you perfectly.
Okay, good.
Um, yeah. Well, I'm sorry. So you spoke about outer space, which leads into the next question. You on your Facebook, you talk about serving the universe. What do you exactly mean? Are you serving them a hot meal? What, what exactly are you serving to the universe?
Okay, so when I first started teaching in this area, nobody was teaching Kundalini Yoga, right? And everybody thought I was a weirdo for teaching this yoga. I mean, come on, I'm dressed in white, I cover my head, I'm doing these movements, you know, like whatever, for long periods of time, or holding positions for a long period of time. So sometimes when I first started teaching, nobody would show up to class, but I would teach anyway. I would teach the entire class anyway, because there are entities that we can't see or can't feel, but they show up for the energy. So I have no idea who is out there, but if I am committed to teaching a class at that time, there are certain entities, there are certain people, energies that show up to receive those teachings. And it has nothing to do with me. I'm a vessel, the energy runs through me and comes out. That's it. So it has nothing to do with me. I'm allowing the energy to run through me. So whoever needs, whatever being, whatever entity needs to receive those teachings or that energy that is being run through me, I'm going to show up for them. So that's the serving. So, and you know, like I said, I have people in Paris, I have people in Scotland who write, you know, physical beings that are on this planet, on planet Earth right now, who I show up for, whether it's having a phone call to help them get through a situation, or whether it's them coming to class. So that's the serving aspect.
All right, very cool. So, and then another part I saw was, how do you help people seek elevation? And what exactly is elevation in terms of your practice?
So again, it's that raising the frequency, right? So when you're feeling down and out or sad or depressed or anxious even, right, it's a lower frequency, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you feel happy and joyful and peaceful and giving and forgiveness and compassionate, right, loving, that is a higher frequency, right? So there's two frequencies that we're running on with every little thing that we do, whether it's picking up your phone, making your smoothie, you know, cleaning your bathroom. Everything that you do is either coming from a love frequency or a fear frequency. Every high frequency breaks down to love. Every low frequency breaks down to fear. So what I'm trying to do, what these teachings, this technology is trying to do, is allow people to come from that love frequency. And it doesn't necessarily mean, oh, lovey all the time and, like, you know, new agey and oh, everything is unicorn and rainbows. No, it's being real. It's being like, okay, I understand where you're coming from, and I have a respect and an acceptance of that. You know, anything with the fear frequency is not going to be helpful to this planet. It's not going to be helpful to you. It's not going to be helpful to this planet. So yes, we live on a planet that is a polarity planet, north, south, east, west, up, down, light, dark, right? So we need that balance, but we're trying to have more of a balance of a higher frequency, because it's easy to go into the low frequency. It's easy to do that on this planet. It's a dense, dark planet, right? It's harder to get into that higher frequency and to stay in that higher frequency, to stay there constantly with everything that you're doing, you know, cleaning your bathroom, washing your dishes. It's kind of hard to stay there, right? But so that's what I mean by, you know, anyone who seeks elevation, anybody that is seeking to live in that higher frequency, to live in that low frequency, that's what I'm here for, because I have a technology that can help you do that constantly. With every beat of your heart, it's happening automatically. You don't have to, like, sit down and bust out the crystals and the incense and, you know, do the whole ritual thing. If you want to, that's great. That's awesome. But what I'm talking about is like when you're cleaning your bathroom, you're actually enjoying it. That's the higher frequency. That's the elevation. And once we have that within us, it happens like a ripple effect, like the waves, right? So this energy that I'm carrying, creating, exuding, then goes to, when, you know, right now we're social distancing, right? But when I'm in the room with other people pick that up, and then their energy gets raised. And then they go into the room with other people, and then their energy gets raised. So it's like this ripple effect. We have more of that, then the whole planet's frequency gets raised. And then this planet's living in its dignity, basically. This beautiful world that is here for us to enjoy and to be happy. You know, it's our birthright to be happy. There's no reason not to be. And you know, I'm the first, and people think I'm a weirdo, but you know, I had recently this woman contact me in California. Her mom is in the hospital. They're talking about cancer. She's worried about COVID, obviously. All of these, you know, she's going down the thing, right? She's going down the downward spiral. And I was about to teach a class, so I only had a couple seconds. And I said, just enjoy this moment, please. That doesn't make any sense, right? But what is it helping her mother if she is frantic or going down that rabbit hole? It's not going to help her mother. Now we have two people who don't feel good. We need at least one person to feel good, to help that person that doesn't feel good, to raise them up. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes perfect sense. It makes me think of Neil Donald Walsh saying that everything God is doing for you, doing to you, is for you. So like, you know, I've had several relatives that have had cancer, and the ones that beat it and kept on living were the ones that kept themselves at that high love frequency, and the ones that fixated on the disease made the disease worsen. And it's a very much power of the mind that if you kind of say, "Oh, God's doing this for me," okay, how can cancer benefit me? Oh, I'm estranged from my mother. This is a chance for us to repair a relationship and let her depart this plane on positive terms out of love rather than regret, anger, and all those negative emotions.
Exactly.
So it's very powerful to just tell people to be in the moment, which is so hard, especially during this quarantine where everyone's like, what moment is it? Is it a moment on Wednesday, Saturday, Monday? I don't know what moment we are in, but just being in that moment is just so important and so healing that, yeah, you don't have to break out the incense and the crystals and stuff. It's just can be looking at a river for an hour on YouTube or whatever brings you that peace and brings you into that moment. Yeah, it's definitely powerful.
Right. And you know, in the technology that I teach, you know, you're able to take a deep breath. You take one deep breath, and then because of like going to classes and the relationships with the meditations that we do and the mantras, you take that breath and your physical body, your mental bodies, your energetic bodies remembers that, you know, experience in class, and then the body knows what to do. You know, oh, okay, let me be constructive and not destructive. Let me move forward. Let me, whatever you got to do, you know, move into that, like you said, that love frequency, be in the moment.
Mm-hmm. That's definitely what I think a lot of people need to hear. So our next question for the interview is, what was your experience last year at Inclusion Fest?
Oh my God. It was the sweetest experience. I was only able to be there for the day, one day. I think it was a Saturday. And yeah, or a Saturday. And yeah, it was like, you know, everyone that I had interaction with was so loving and giving and kind and compassionate and genuinely interested in what you're doing, you know, and and you know, and what you're offering, or even just a simple conversation of exchanging, you know, when I went to get food, you know, exchanging the money for food or whatever, like that was just, it was just so sweet. Like you can really feel the heart energy there. And the genuine love that is just exuding from every single person working there, you know, participating there, whatever it was. We had a really good time, and I think that you know, having just like that, you know, if you look at it from a bird's eye view, like that energy just in that one big circle of everyone being like that, that ripple effect is humongous. It's huge. So we had a really, really good time. It was very, very sweet, very, very loving. And yeah, we really enjoyed ourselves a lot. It was very sweet.
Yeah, I definitely love the energy of Inclusion Fest. As someone who is on the autism spectrum, just like having people like just look at, you know, people like me as a person, and you know, not my diagnosis. You know, my wife does that for me every day, but to have a whole group of people just like, who is Sam? Who is this individual? And then welcoming me into their circles was a very unique experience that the festival gave me, and I'm sure it gives a lot of other individuals. So the big question I always like to end all my interviews with is, or here on Inclusion Tube, is what does inclusion mean to you?
Inclusion means to me being accepting of everything, whether it's a human being, a situation, um, you know, a thought form that maybe we have, an experience that we're going through. Just being like accepting of that, and with that acceptance, having that heart energy, that love energy being put towards it, you know, not putting that negative thought form down, but knowing that it's there, and you know, accept, okay, I'm having that feeling right now, how can I get out of that feeling, what can I do I need a big drink of water, do I need like to listen to mantra, do I need to do breath, whatever, you know. So yeah, that's what it means to me, including everything that's coming at me and being accepting of it. Does that make sense?
It makes sense. Like I said, I've been in the community for a while now, so it makes perfect sense. Giving self-care is the name of the game when it comes to spiritual healing. I think, and people that offer the tools are just such, like yourself, are such great teachers. Is there anything you want to say to the families at home that may be watching this during this whole Corona thing, or just in general? Is there any message that you want to pass on to them?
Yeah, I think the best thing for all of us to do, no matter how hard it is like I said with my lady in California, you know, just enjoy this time. You know, this time, unprecedented time in space, has been given to us as some kind of a gift. So whether it means spending more time with your family, understanding them more, going deeper into the relationships with them, having different experiences that maybe you wouldn't have with them normally on a you know, regular day when we're not in a pandemic. You know, you utilize this time for creation, because with everything right now feels like it's being broken down, right? Destruction. So utilize this time to create something new, create a new habit, create a new timeline, create a new schedule, you know, create a new project, you know, with your family members or with yourself, even if you live alone. Like, you know, just try to create something. And it doesn't have to be huge. It can be so simple as maybe you start writing in a journal every day. That's creating. You know, maybe you're outside planting. You know, maybe you started cooking. That's creation. So allow the creation to build more so that the destruction doesn't take over, if that makes sense.
perfect sense. That was beautiful. Like I'm right now trying to write a book about adulting and being on the spectrum.
Amazing.
So
Perfect.
yeah, so writing about spiritual stuff, because spiritual stuff and autism is still a very new thing. So yeah, I'm trying to give a spiritual perspective on autism and being an adult at the same time. So I get the whole thing about it's kept me positive and in that love frequency rather than, oh, I'm afraid of getting sick. I'm afraid of my son getting sick. Like that only invites the disease into my home. But being, like you said, in that creative process is what's going to help anyone get through this process. Even if your child is low functional autism, like just have that child finger paint. They're in that love frequency.
Right.
Found in the everyday. Okay.
Yeah, and the thing is, there's a lot of people who are very tired right now because of the psychic pressure that's being put on us. Like, if you're tired, rest. There's nothing wrong with being tired. Just rest. Take your time, take a nap. Definitely. It's we have the time to do that now. So take advantage of this time. If you think of it as a negative thing, like you just said, more negative things are going to come to you. But if you think of it as like, wow, I have this time, I can clean out this closet that I've been wanting to clean out for 10 years, clean it out. I don't know, but yes, with creativity comes more love, and and that's just it, and it doesn't have to be a huge project. I have a huge respect for you writing a book. That's major, but that might be too major for other people, so maybe cooking or something simple. Keep it simple, start off simple and then build to especially if the big stuff is overwhelming. Start simple. Just start. Your house is a disaster, right? Say your house is a disaster and you're like, how am I going to clean my house? I don't even know where to start. It's so messy. Just go to the corner and pick up the sock and put the sock where it belongs. Once you start, the pressure comes off.
Yeah, I'm definitely doing a lot of that with my house. Yeah, definitely a lot of cleaning is very therapeutic. So how can people get in contact with you, or if they want to jump in on one of your yoga classes, how can they do that?
Yeah, so hariprakash.com, HariPrakaash.com. And then right now I'm teaching all virtual classes. So there's a little tab on my website that says virtual classes. You click on that, has the whole schedule and then all the links to the class. So I'm doing all by donation classes or complimentary classes. I have adult classes, I have kids classes. The adults are welcome to the kids classes. The kids are welcome to the adult classes. Anybody can do anything of this yoga. And if you cannot donate, it does not matter. I just, I'm trying to keep people uplifted. So you just click on the link and you pop into class and you're there. There's no judgment. There's nothing. There is absolutely nothing. Just show up to class, basically. And I have people, they text me and I can't do class. I'm so tired today. That's okay. Just let it play in the background and you lay down and just listen. So that's totally cool. But Samuel, I real quick, you said talking about having a spiritual experience, right, with autism.
Yes.
In this day and age, we think of, some people may think of spiritual, whatever, crystals, incense, meditating, whatever. I want to, just kind of try to help people understand that you can have a spiritual experience doing anything. You can have a spiritual experience, cooking food or filling up your gas tank. There's just spiritual experience to me means these aha moments, oh my God, and something has awoken within inside of you. Something has enlightened within your mind. So just keep that in mind. It can happen at any time of day. in any moment. You don't have to sit down and meditate to have a spiritual experience. Yes, that is helpful, and I encourage meditation, but you don't, it can be whatever you're doing in life. So
like experiencing any emotion is a spiritual experience, because your soul's telling you what you need, and the fact that you have that awareness of the emotion is powerful in itself.
Exactly. Boom. There you go. Totally.
And then and then also do it, and just being more and more aware of that. Being in the moment is probably the most powerful spiritual experience, with all the distractions going on with the internet, news, politics, health. Just practicing being in the moment can be the most powerful meditation there is. You don't have to sit down and go for an hour.
Exactly. You do not. It's not. We're not living in that world anymore.
Mm-hmm.
It can happen at any time. And I have a friend. He was driving a rental car, and they had to go and fill up the gas tank, and the person next to them was like, "Oh, look at the arrow, where the full empty thing, wherever the arrow is pointing is the side that the gas tank is on." He never knew that. I didn't know that either. And that was a spiritual experience for him, because it blew his mind. So, you just got to do whatever, and be open, be open for the experience, for the energy of the universe to flow. It's flowing through you already. It's just how open are you to listening to it?
Exactly. All right. Is there any last minute tidbit you want to share with the audience before we sign off here?
I love you all, even if I've never met you. I love you, and I want you to know that we're staying strong for you. If maybe you're not feeling well, we're staying strong for you. So just know that you're connected with us, and we're going to keep you uplifted and hold you in our hearts.
All right. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk to Inclusion Tube. I hope you enjoy.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, we'll have to do it again sometime. I hope you enjoy this weekend. And all right, guys, that's a wrap for Inclusion Tube. Bye.
Samuel, thank you so much.
Pause.